Saturday morning, everybody. This is Grace, and I have been trying to get this video done, and it's not working right. So, anyway, I want to talk today about victims of, some call them malignant narcissists, some call them malignant borderlines. I don't want to diagnose, but it's the people I will just call control freaks. I'll probably put it a different way in the title because more people understand it as narcissists or borderlines. But when the whole Machiavellianism comes into play, and the dark triad or dark tetrad, whatever. But yeah, I'm just going to say control freak and victim, if I can remember to, instead of saying you, not meaning you. But anyway, my usual disclaimer: I'm not a healthcare professional provider. I read the disclaimer in the description box here on YouTube under the video. And so don't take any of this as advice or counseling or anything like that. Okay, and what I want to focus on is something that I really have not focused on enough in my life, even. And that is when, the control freak has somehow caused the person to feel so much like they're really going to be in trouble with. Like I said, they're going to be in trouble with. They tippy-toe around them and all that, because they're afraid. I have to do everything the way that this person, this control freak, thinks it should be, or I'm in trouble. That kind of thing. And I think the easiest one to use in this would be a boss. But also, this can happen in just interpersonal relationships. It can happen between, two people who are just friends. It can happen between anybody, really. And I'm talking in this, I'm talking about adults. I'm always talking about adults. I don't talk about children. So, it is that when the victim, like you have a boss. Here I go with the you thing. When there's a boss, okay, and the boss is a control freak, and he or she, let's use he this time, I go back and forth, but he has everybody working there, everybody that's in, say, Cubeville there, that they know that if they don't do this or they don't do that, that therefore they're going to get fired, or something suspended, or something or they're not going to get, the whole group will not get a monthly bonus or something like that. So everybody there, these are his victims. Everybody there is just afraid. Now, some people have to react differently to these things, of course. Okay, I don't like sitting in front of propane things. I want to move. But anyway, as far as people who are, working with a boss, let's go back to this about a boss. A boss who is very controlling, and, some might call it all kinds of things, but very controlling. Ones that use this whole thing, of chain of command, and he's on top, of course. And when somebody says chain of command, I'm like, I'm not in the military. This is a job, I can't stand that chain of command thing, because you get a feeling how it's going to be, But anyway, and all the other people, are just, under his thumb. Either lose the job, quit the job, or deal with this control freak as a boss. And I have seen it. I have seen it pretty bad. Okay, now what I saw as a result of that kind of thing, where the boss was extremely controlling, was, and I've mentioned this before, about one woman working there. I don't know if it's still open or on private, but one woman working there, she became quite delusional. And the pressure was, just out of this world. And she became delusional. Things like, we had a quota, of course, in this kind. And he would put on the board for everybody to see who's number one, who's number two, who's number three, and so on. And she would read herself as number one when she was not number one. But she would read it that way. She became so delusional. She also became so delusional that she thought somebody working there, she was a married woman, around 40, 41 years old. She thought somebody, single, a guy single, was really in love with her. And there was a guy working there, and how did he respond to it? He responded to it by getting very angry. And of course, this bully of a control freak boss, would say that, it's his problem, that guy, the victim's problem, the guy, that he gets so angry. No, when you run an office like chain of command, you're top on the chain of command, and you're all my little, soldiers, and you're supposed to do it this way and that way. No, the guy would get so mad, the victim, he would get so angry that he would actually, do things like hit the wall with his fist, storm off, grumbling and just cussing and, all that. But that was one of the other one reaction. One of them, she just pretty much just stayed out of it, stayed quiet and everything. Now me, I didn't have any problem. I didn't have so much problem because I was I was one of their top earners. It was medical billing, and I took on all the big accounts, and I made them a whole lot of money, and I took them on. Plus, I would verbalize how I felt. Like, he would do things like, say you take 10 examples of somebody's work, and they got one wrong. That's, they're not, you could say they're 90% accurate. No, but what he would do is he would find like 7 things that he already knows a person did wrong, and a few that he knows that they did right, and put those as 10. 7 and 10, 7 wrong, 3 right, and then go from there and get a percentage. And I told him, I said, that is not how it works. I was extremely verbal about how it was. I actually reported them for because that was the place they fired all the women. They had trouble with the women, and eventually they fired all the women. But with me, I quit after I reported them for sex discrimination, harassment. It wasn't sexual, but it was making it a hostile working environment, because they had a problem with with women. Their shoes didn't make, if the shoes made a sound, they would fire them. They fired a woman because her shoes made a sound, seriously. And then in comes I made a comment, that's when I reported it, I made a comment about it, and in comes the owner wearing his flip-flops and making sure I heard him, as a male. So anyway, this kind of thing, when I'm not getting it to the point enough, or maybe I am, when somebody feels like they're going to be in trouble with this person who's the control freak. And at this place, people really felt it. So you can see, different people have different reactions to it, and mine was to just verbalize it. But I will tell you this, and I have said this on various videos, that that I have trouble with. I'm a homemaker. I don't work now. I have trouble with not trying to hurry up and do everything, or do multitasking. I'm a homemaker. I'm not on any schedule. I don't have a boss, but I cannot calm down from having had those kinds of bosses. They've never really, and I've said this before, really bothered me, personally, because I was a bar raiser kind of thing. But just seeing it, just feeling that that they could, and this goes back probably to childhood, as we all know. But anyway, this is something that I really have not paid enough attention to, seriously, in my own life. I haven't studied enough about it. I haven't thought enough about it. I haven't, talked to myself, that's called thinking, to myself, what is it? Because I can see myself at times feeling it with, like I said, a homemaker, and there's nobody that's going to be my boss. But even, also with other people, there's a, becomes part of you, who you are. Even though, maybe nobody's doing it. Like I said, bosses never had a problem with me because I was a bar raiser. But even when it's like there's an invisible person, that, you think about, oh, I'm going to be in trouble because it was, basically pounded, pardon me, but yeah, into you from some abusive relationship, prior to that, or maybe even that one. Okay, I said you, and when I meant to say victim, I do that. But anyway, I need to get in that store, and I'm going to talk more about this in other videos, but I wanted to put this part out of it because it is, in a way, I know that myself is complex post-traumatic stress disorder. I see it as that, that I haven't been able to move past. I don't want to diagnose it and everybody think, oh, that's the way, that's part of it, because I really don't know if it is. But to me it is. To me that it is. Not being able to feel, you know, this kind of thing makes you feel like you're a child when somebody does it to you. And not, you know, and I always would say that, you know, like they think that they have their children who work for them, this kind of boss. And other people had said that too, you know, or they said monkeys. I didn't like that at all. But anyway, I'm going to talk more about this on another video, so just stay tuned. And you can always subscribe to me as Grace in Texas on YouTube. Talk to y'all later.